5 things players dislike about God of War. Number 1, God of War PS4 doesn't feel like God of War. Go back and play some of those older games, and then go and play the new God of War, and yeah, it's a night and day difference. 2 totally different games. This is a breath of fresh air for God of War. Whether or not that's a bad or good thing, that remains to be seen, but players are very, very skeptical about this new God of War because of that. Number 2, God of War is very similar to The Last of Us. Go and play The Last of Us, and then go and play God of War PS4, and you will see the similarities in terms of how the story is told, and the cinematic experience, and the emotional characters. So yeah, God of War PS4 is very similar to The Last of Us. Is that a bad thing? I don't necessarily know, but I know it's one thing that players do dislike about God of War PS4. Number 3, the combat is very similar to Dark Souls. Go and play Dark Souls, and then go and play God of War PS4, and you will see that the similarities are there. The combat here in God of War PS4, like I said, is very, 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 very similar to a Dark Souls game, or a Bloodborne game. Is that a bad thing? I don't know, that remains to be seen, but the fact of the matter is that the combat here in God of War PS4 is in the vein of those games. Number 4, no multiplayer. God of War PS4 does not have any multiplayer whatsoever. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, how is that a thing that players dislike, Michael? You know, it's primarily a single-player game. I don't understand, Michael. Well, a lot of other single-player games that have come out in the past decade or so have had some multiplayer component to them. You know, like The Last of Us, and basically every other single-player. Even Far Cry 5 that just came out recently as of this recording had a multiplayer thing, had a multiplayer component. And yet here we are with God of War PS4, and it does not feature any multiplayer whatsoever, so the longevity of this game comes into question. And the reason why the longevity comes into question here is because this game doesn't have multiplayer. So, once you complete the story a couple of times, you're probably not going to go back to God of War PS4. And that's kind of unfortunate. And last but not least, this game, God of War PS4, is not going to live up to the hype. There's absolutely no way that this game is going to live up to the 10s and the 10s and the 10s that this game received on these multiple video game websites. It's just not going to happen, folks. Don't buy into the hype all that much, because you're going to be disappointed. Everyone's saying that this game is a masterpiece. Everyone's saying that this game is absolutely the best thing since sliced bread. But when you go home and you play it for yourself, you might form your own opinion. And you might say to yourself as you're playing that brand new spanking copy of God of War PS4 that, well, this isn't all that fantastic. Don't say I didn't warn you. Well, there you have it. Those were 5 things that players dislike about God of War PS4. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you fairly soon with more God of War coverage. Until next time, take care.